In this video, I'm going to go over the 6 ArrayList commands that you need to be familiar with in AP Computer Science. And here they are on the quick reference sheet, and you're familiar with this, of course. The Java quick reference, you can use this when you take the exam. So here are my ArrayList commands, and I'll go over them in just a moment. But size, of course, you know that tells you how big the array list is. That's the length of it. You can add an item to the array list. There's 2 versions of add. You can get an item at a particular position in an array list. And you can set an item, that's like replacing an item in an array list. And you can remove an item in an array list. All right, now let's look at a real example. In order to work with array lists, you have to include this little import statement on the top of your program here. All this is really saying is, hey, I'm going to import some Java package, some part of the Java language that will allow me to use array lists. So if you're going to work with array lists, just stick this line at the very top. It's got to be at the top of your program before the class declaration here. All right, that's all there is to that. So here I am declaring an array list. Now I know it's a rather long, cumbersome line of code here, but yes, this is how you make a new array list. Array lists are objects, and actually array lists can only contain objects. You might recall that an array can contain primitives like ints, or an array can also contain objects, but an array list can only contain objects. I think I said that enough. So here's my array list. It's going to contain student objects, and you have to put these little angle brackets here. So my array list of student objects is named comp.sci, because I'm going to put comp.sci students in there. And it is a new, I'm using the keyword new, array lists or objects. It is a new array list of students, of student objects, again in angle brackets. And then, yeah, you have to have these little parentheses here. Don't ask me why. Declaring array lists used to be different, but it sort of evolved into this messy looking line of code. So this is how you make a new array list. And my array list is called comp.sci, and it's an array list of student objects. Let's see what a student object looks like. Well, a student object just has a name and a student ID number, I guess called number. That's it. Here's my constructor. Here's my toString method. All right, let's go back to my array list class where I'm working with array lists. So here you can see I created a new student object named S1. Ben, his ID is 123. How'd I come up with that? And here I'm using the add command of array lists. I'm saying comp.sci.add student S1. Okay, I did that in 2 lines of code here, but you know you can do the same thing in 1 line of code also. So I can add a new student, Sam, and his ID is 456. You see where I'm going with this. And then I can add another student. So I'm adding Megan, and her ID is 789. Remember there are 2 versions of the add command. If you just say add, it adds the object to the end of the list. But if you say add with a particular position, it adds it to that position. Then I'm going to print out my array list. So I made a for loop, and the for loop goes from 0 to less than the size. Remember, .size tells me the length of my array list. So I'm going less than the size. And then I'm going to print out what is at each location. So I'm going to run this, and I think it's going to be no surprise here. That's my array list. Remember, I added Ben first, then I added Sam. Well, then I added Megan, but then I added Matt to position 2. So 0, 1, 2. Matt got added there, and Megan got pushed down the list. Isn't that great? All right, hang in there. We're just going to look at 3 more commands. So I added just a little bit more code to the end here, and we're going to look at that real quick. So here I'm running the remove command. So if I remove the item that is at position 1, well, Sam should be removed. And remember, remove returns what was at that position. So that's why I put it in a print statement. This should print Sam. And then I'm using the set command. Remember, set replaces something in your array list. So I'm setting position 2 to a new student, Sarah. Now remember, Sam has been removed. So position 2 should be 0, 1, 2 should be Megan. So Megan should get replaced by Sarah. And then I'm going to print out the list again. Oh, and of course I'm printing out what was removed. When you set something, like I'm setting what's at position 2, it returns what was there. So this actually should print out Megan, but then when I reprint out the list, you'll see Megan will have been replaced by Sarah. So let's give this a run. And that was my original list. Remember, I removed Sam. I replaced Megan with Sarah, so that's why Megan got returned. And then here is my new list: Ben, Matt, Sarah. Quick video, but you're going to spend a lot of time working with ArrayLists, so get to work, and thanks for watching.